Hi Taurus, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and if you are new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I'm so glad you found me. We are about 8.5 months, 9 months old, so it's a pretty young channel. And if you're coming back for another reading, I also want to thank you for watching my videos. And so today, Taurus, this is going to be a general reading for August 2024. And it's going to be a fascinating reading for you. So we'll talk about, what kind of reading I'm going to give you in a minute. So before I do that, I just want to make a quick introduction about the personal readings that I'm going to be doing. I know I've talked about it already. I told you that I'd be putting out a video, which I haven't done yet. And sometimes these things take time, and I'm a firm believer in universal timing. And for some reason, I'm a bit stalled right now, but it'll be coming, I promise. So, what are we going to be doing today? Well, we're going to be doing mirror work. So what is mirror work? Well, let me just tell you that mirror work is probably one of the best things that you can use to start to heal yourself, to start to find out what is coming up from your shadow to heal. And if you're new to shadow work, I'm going to leave a video for you. I'm going to link it right at the end of this video. And it's a video that I've done for my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's a video on shadow work. And it's also linked in the description box as well. So, it's going to tell you all about how to do shadow work. And shadow work is just basically healing what's coming up from your unconscious. So mirror work is about the whole concept about the universe is trying to reflect something to you that is connected to your inner world, to the unconscious. Now, I know that's a bit heavy, but I want you to understand it as when we start watching our outer world, like people that are in our life, like what's happening in our world to us, or even what's happening in the world itself, what's going on with our pets? What's going on in our own systems, health-wise maybe, or children. Children have an incredible way of triggering us. They always will be a mirror for us that are reflecting something back to us that we need to see, especially when, we sit here and go, they're driving me crazy, they're pissing me off, they're making me angry. That is mirror work. That is what the universe is reflecting back to you. That's related to a pattern or a belief system or a struggle or whatever it is that needs to heal. Now, let me give you an example. I am a retired teacher, and so I think it's really important to give you an example, a concrete example of mirror work. So I saw mirror work yesterday in action, and to me, I said to myself, I was trying to figure out why this was happening to me, because that's what mirror work is. And I knew it was because it was the story that I needed to tell you, the example. So yesterday I brought my car in for the umpteenth time to get fixed, and I now know that it's time to get rid of my car. By the way, it's just given me a lot of clues and things, memories that I'm done with part of this in my life, so it's time to get rid of this car. I know. But I was in the garage yesterday waiting in the waiting room with this woman, and there were just the two of us, and she had just finished talking to the technician. And you could tell that she was very much someone that was full of fear, full of anxiety, just the way she was walking around and talking about how she needed a cigarette. And I could just feel her anxious energy. And she started to talk to me, and she told me about her car and what it was doing. And her car, when it came to slow down and came to a stop or a light, she said she could see the whole dashboard, lights start to dimmer, and there was shaking going on, and her car would stall at the stop sign or at the lights. And this was happening all the way to her drive to bringing her car in. and it was happening all the time. And she told me there was even one incident last week where she had a police officer stop her because she was stalled in the middle of traffic, and he followed her where she was going. He followed her home. Now, this isn't, you know, the woman's probably close to my age. I don't know. I have a hard time with the age, but she told me she was living with her parents. And I'm thinking in my head, like, why would you drive this vehicle knowing that it's going to stall all the way here? And the fear and the anxiety in her system over this car doing this to her was incredible. Now, she could have called, had a tow truck bring it in. She could have asked people she was living with to, you know, give her a ride. But here's the thing about what's going on in this woman's outer world that she didn't realize that I knew it was going on, because I've lived what she's going through. She's living a flashback, and the panic in her system. So she still thinks she's back in this flashback, and she doesn't realize that she can get out of this as an adult, but she still thinks she's back where she was a child, and something was happening to her over and over and over again that was bringing up all this fear and all this anxiety, and she couldn't get out of it as a child, but she can as an adult. And so even just having that police officer saving her, and to me it just sounded like this was something from her childhood that was coming up for her to heal. And if you don't think that your car can be a mirror for you, oh my God. Like, I mean, my car has been an incredible mirror for me to, you know, bring back a lot of my own flashbacks of when I was trapped as a child and I couldn't get out of my situation. And so this is what, you know, it's very critical on this journey to start to become aware of what's going on in your outer world, your conscious world, and use it as a mirror to reflect what's happening or coming up for healing in your inner world from your unconscious. It's a fascinating concept that the universe has for us. It's beautiful. But this is the way we can start using our triggers, these people around us, or, you know, our relationships, what situation you're sitting in with your own relationship. How is this a flashback? How is this bringing up patterns from your childhood? And so we're going to start right now and get into this reading, because I could chat forever about mirror work. It's fascinating. So we're going to be using, for the left-hand side of the reading, I'm going to be using the Tarot Grand Luxe to pull out my major cards. I've pre-shuffled my decks. I'm using 3 decks today. I kept on saying, you know, use 3 decks. This is what I've been hearing. And I was like, no, I just want 2. And it's like, no, use 3. And I'm like, okay, I'll use 3. So on the right-hand side, I'm going to be using the Tarot of the Abyss, another one of my favorite decks. And then I'm going to clarify everything with my Rider-Waite. All right, with the tarot. So I'm anxious to get started. This is, Taurus, I'm just going to be honest with you. This is my very first mirror work reading. I just came up with this. And I think I'm going to offer this, depending on how all this goes, I'm going to offer it as one of my personal readings, because I think I'm going to love it. I'm very excited about this. I had a lot of anxiety, and to be honest with you, coming on, because it was like, I'm very excited about this reading. I want it to work. So let's see. Quite excited. I'm going to start off with pulling for you your outer world cards, 3 of them, before I clarify them. And then I'm going to pull card number 7, which is the message from the universe. So let's start off, Tarot, by giving me these 1, 2, 3 cards. I think what's going to happen if 2 come out, then I just want 3 single cards here. So if I can start off with, here's your first one. You have the Queen of Wands that comes out for you as your first card in your outer world, in what you're aware of. All right. So let's have another card here, Tarot, for the conscious world, what Taurus is aware of. In January of this year, I put out a yearly readings for every sign, and I pulled 12 cards in each reading. And for your reading, you had the Temperance in reverse for the month of August. And so this is going to be the overriding energy of this reading. And Temperance speaks to us about, and I noticed that you have it here coming up right here in our first row. And Temperance talks about, finding your middle ground. Sometimes it could talk about, if you look at this card in an upright position, you have this angel that's, just dipping their toe into the water just to try, just to, and water's all about emotions. So it's just like feeling your emotions a little bit at a time, right? And these things, this healing journey takes time, and sometimes we will go into denial and don't want to deal with our emotions. But Temperance card in reverse tells me that, maybe you are sitting with a little bit of denial. You could be blocked. There could be some real resistance to feeling whatever's coming up for you. There's something that's coming up for you, and so that's kind of the overriding energy that you're in a bit of resistance here to feel. So let's keep that as, in mind right here as we move through these cards. And so the first card that you have is the Queen of Wands that comes up. And the Queen of Wands speaks to us about, she's the feminine aspect of ourselves. We have a masculine side, which are the kings, and a feminine side, which are my queens. And she, the Queen of Wands, the wand talks about our purpose, our life's purpose, what we came here to do, and taking our life into that new direction, into the direction that we want to go into, putting ourselves first. Maybe there's something that you're thinking about that you want to do for yourself. And Temperance comes right behind it again, and there's this thing about, there's some kind of stirring emotions coming up here, and you're not quite sure, what to do about this, because oftentimes when we want to take our life into a new direction, there's some emotions that are going to come up sometimes that we're feeling. There's something going on, and the Star card is saying, well, there's something to heal here. And oftentimes when we want to go into that new direction, there will always be something to heal, something that's coming up from our unconscious that we need to look at. And so the universe is trying to get you to look at this, because there is some healing to be done here. It's in reverse. It's like, maybe I wonder, if it's something like, sometimes we can say to ourselves, well, I'm done my healing, or I've healed that before. For example, like, the whole, and I don't know why loneliness came up, but I don't see loneliness here yet. But sometimes when loneliness comes up, for me, it can come up and I can heal it, and then it can come up again. So a lot of times we can spiral into emotions, because we're talking about emotions here, but we can do them on a different level. So I remember telling that to someone one day, and this individual that, she was new to me, and I was telling her how I was working on loneliness again. She goes, haven't you already worked on that before? And I was like, yep, but it comes up again. And so maybe this is something that's coming up for you, an emotion, maybe it's again, and the Six of Wands comes here, and that's interesting because it's in reverse. And the Six of Wands is often what is called our victory card. And it looks like this individual in an upright position has, won something, has gained some sort of victory over something. But the sixes in my deck always talk about a duality. And so this has the duality of, on the outside it looks like you won something or something has been gained, but we need to look at what's underneath that, what's the other side of that, and that is what is lost. And so there's something here that, and there's a resistance to looking at it because it's in reverse, but there's something here that, because we're talking about emotions, there's something that's coming up for you in your outer world, but you're feeling some loss. You're feeling like there's some loss here. And the Queen of Pentacles in reverse comes right behind it. And the Queen of Pentacles is the feminine aspect again of ourselves, but this time she talks about the pentacle. And the pentacle is our body. It's about our self-worth. It's about getting grounded. The pentacle is the earth element, so it's about being grounded. And she's in reverse here, and because it's behind the Six of Wands and you're dealing with some kind of loss that's coming up here. And this is the question of the Queen wanting you to be to be grounded and getting back in your body so you can feel this. So you can feel this loss that you need to feel in order to take your life into this new direction you want to go into. But you're fighting it. And when the Queen is in reverse, that tells me that you could be feeling some real hopelessness or even some anger sometimes. And so I'm wondering if you do feel, because you're feeling this loneliness, maybe you're feeling some hopelessness. And that can come up right before we're ready to do something, where you just feel that whole feeling of, why bother? You know, I can't do this. It's not going to work. You know, it's never work. And those are those emotions, those old emotions that are coming up that the universe is asking you to look at, right? And the next one is this Ace of Wands here, right behind it. Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands talks about a gift, a new beginning, a new start, a new offer. And it's the wand. So in order for you to take your life into this new direction, in order for you to take this what you want to do, this new start for yourself, the Nine of Wands comes right behind it. And the Nine of Wands says, you know what? You've been through something. You know, this is talking about, well, maybe we'll see what it is in your unconscious, in your inner world. But there's something here that you've been through. Look at this individual with the bandage on his head. You've been through a lot. There's something in your childhood that's really coming up here for you to heal for sure. And then you have the Nine of Swords here. And I know there's something that's coming up for healing, because look at this woman. Look at these swords that are coming up here. This is the card that says, well, all of this mental energy that's coming up with you right now, that you're battling. I can see you're really trying to keep it really all down and trying to control it. And it's coming up and it's keeping you up at night. And you know what these swords are? These swords, the swords are mental energy. These swords are all these things that you've been told when you were younger. Like maybe you're hearing things like, you know, because you're wanting to do something. You're ready to follow. Maybe you're following your intuition and doing something. And you're starting to hear things like, you know, who do you think you are? You know, you can't do this. Because I see here there's like hopelessness coming in. And there's all these things that you're telling yourself that are coming up in your head that maybe sound like people from your childhood that told you that you weren't allowed to do this, you can't do this. Who do you think you are? Like things like that is just, you're really up in your head here. And Tower moment's coming here. So that tells me that there's something that, you know, that you're sitting in that has just happened for you, or that you're really, well, you have the Four of Swords sitting right behind it. So I can see here that you're really in some sort of a rest period here, because there has been something that has just transformed your life, that has just changed the direction of your life, because you're needing a lot of rest here. I don't know if you're taking it, but you're needing a lot of rest here that's happened. And I don't know how it's related. It's a general reading, but I don't know how it's related to you taking your life in this new direction. Maybe you have already. And this is the Tower moment that's happening for you. Or maybe this is what you know that you need to do, and it's going to be a Tower moment for you, right? And you're going to need a lot of rest here, because you have the Four of Cups here. And this is the universe. This is the universe calling, saying, listen, you have these Three of Cups here. You have this Tower moment that you need to look at. There's a Tower moment here, and I'm going to predict, and I don't even know what's here. I'm going to predict that this Tower moment right here is related to what is in your shadow that needs healing, what is in your inner world that's coming up for you. There is a shadow moment. And why do I say that? Because a Tower moment. Because you have Three Cups here, and there's a part of you that's kind of sitting here like this individual in this card is going, you know what, I don't want to feel anymore. I'm done. I don't want to touch these feelings. I don't want to touch them. Because when you don't want to touch your feelings, they're painful feelings from the past. They're painful shit from the past that's happened to you. But the universe is coming out and saying, Taurus, here's another chance. There's something you want to do, or you've done, but it's time now to heal again, to get into healing. Take this cup on offer. You have another chance here. So that's the situation for you. We'll get into the healing or the message from the universe in a minute. But whatever the situation is for you and how it resonates with you, let's look at how this is a mirror. How this is going, whatever I've talked about here, how it's, a mirror for what is coming up for a shadow. And I had predicted that it has something to do with some tower moment here. And so let's look at this. Well, we start off with the Page of Wands. Well, no surprise that it's a page. A page in my deck. All the pages, there are 4 of them. They represent our inner children who need healing. You can have more than one inner child. Believe me, I know, because I've had to heal. I'm in parts therapy for my own complex PTSD. And I can tell you that there's more than one inner child that needs healing. And so your inner child that needs healing is the one that knows where you're supposed to go. It's the Page of Wands, and it's in reverse here. And it's no surprise because they need healing. They're blocked. They're blocked. And so you right here, we've established that you may be in a situation where you want to take your life in a new direction, or you have. In either case, it's going to be a tower moment for you, but there's a lot of emotions that are coming up here for you. There's something coming up for you to deal with, these emotions to deal with around this, because here's the Page of Wands that needs healing. They know where you're supposed to go. And right behind it is the 7 of Pentacles. And the 7 of Pentacles is kind of, a situation where when you were younger, because this whole area right here is going to speak about your childhood. It could be when you were younger, an adolescent. This is what happened to you. There was a moment in your time, this is the page we're talking about here, your inner child, where they gave up with this 7 of Pentacles. And because they couldn't see another way out of this, they gave up. And you can see how that really changed because you gave up your whole, that's the only thing you could do, your whole sort of, that giving up kind of changed the direction of your life. And here's the 5 of Pentacles that sits behind it. Well, here's the giving up. Look at this woman in this card. She's given up. But look what's in the corner of the room right here. There's a key. She thinks she can't get out of this door. And the key is sitting right there. But she can't even see it because she feels so hopeless. And this tells me that when you were a child, your inner child here had no choice but to give up. They saw no way out of this. They saw no way out. When you were a child, you had no way out. You are sitting in a situation right now where you probably, because there's a huge tower moment here, you probably see no way out of this. I talked about the woman at the beginning about the car thing, seeing no way out and trying to find a way out, and how she's an adult. I don't know why I talked about that, but I did. And as a child, you saw no way out and you gave up of your situation. 5 of Wands comes here. And this 5 of Wands is in reverse here. And the 5 of Wands speaks to me of, look at these 2 birds here, how they're comparing their sticks that they're going to use to make their nest, right? And this card is what I call a bullying card, a shaming card. It's like a battle of our ego, right? Our ego self, where we start comparing ourselves to others, and we say that, they're prettier than us, they're smarter than us, and so there's a real, I feel like there's some real bullying that went on when you were younger. And bullying to me can talk about shame, because oftentimes when we're younger, we all have shame, and we get it from our caretakers because it's been given to them. Bullies will give us shame because they have a lot of it and they're trying to get rid of it themselves. And so this is what the Five of Wands to me is, like this bullying card. It's a shaming card, and it's in reverse here because it needs healing. It's blocked here. It needs healing. And the Magician card comes right after it. And the Magician talks about, you have everything in you, in your inner world, in your unconscious. You have everything in you now to take your life in a new direction. And you did when you were younger, but you couldn't. You didn't see a way out. We've established that. You have this inner guidance, but it was really blocked from this Five of Wands. The shame has blocked your inner guidance where you couldn't see a way out of this. You didn't feel worthy enough to get out of this. Temperance card in reverse. Your Temperance card has come up now. This is why I use 4 decks. 3 times. It's come up 3 times, this Temperance. It's come up first of all as, which is the 5th deck. It's come up first of all for your overriding energy. It's come up over here, and now it's coming up again right here. And it's in reverse again. And so in your shadow, when the Temperance card comes up, it talks to me about, it's just a card of, and because it's in reverse, it's a card of, I said it was earlier that it could be a card of middle ground. And so for you, when you were younger, you didn't have a middle ground. Your world was pretty much black, or like you couldn't find the gray area. And maybe there was a lot of gray, right? There was a lot of gray, a lot of, things were not clear to you because you were a child, right? And so you didn't have that middle ground area. As a child, we do have a lot of gray where we just don't understand things, right? And so for you, the only thing that we don't understand the gray. So I think we sometimes live in our black and white world where we just give up because we can't handle this gray area. The 3 of Wands here that comes in. So when you were younger, this tells me that the 3 of Wands speaks about, having this plan of wanting to do something, of really wanting to take your life in a new direction. But that was blocked. So there's something in your shadow that you wanted to do where you were blocked. And right behind it is the Chariot card, which is the movement, which is the inner movement and following your inner guidance. But we've already established that your inner guidance, what you wanted to do when you were younger, was blocked by shame, some shaming, and was blocked. Like there was something here you wanted to do. Maybe you know what it was. It was blocked by shaming. And then the 3 of Cups comes in, where the 3 of Cups talks to me about, normally it talks about therapy card sometimes. Sorry, 3 of Pentacles is what I'm thinking about. The 3 of Cups talks about celebrating. It's celebrating this feminine energy that we have. And often cards, I'll get those two mixed up sometimes. So it talks about, celebrating our creativity. But your creativity was blocked here. So I want to say that, there's something, this Tower moment, there's something here of shaming when you were younger with what you wanted to do, a specific incident, I think, or a specific something that you knew you were meant to do and you couldn't. And you were blocked when you're ashamed. And this is what's coming up for you. This is what the universe is saying right now. This block that you're feeling right now to do what it is you want to do is related to the block when you were younger of the shaming. So there's some shaming here that needs healing. So let's go to your outer world right here, your message from the universe. Well, 10 of Wands. Yeah, the universe says, you know what? You have these wands here. You have 10 of them. Talked about 9 of Wands here, what you're feeling right now. You have this burden. You've been carrying around this burden for a long time. And we talked about this as far as you've been through a lot, right? In the 9 of Wands. Well, the 10 of Wands says, look what it's done. Look what it's done to you. It's turned, this is turned right upside down. And there's a big resistance to finally taking this burden off your back. And you know, this takes time. This takes time to start to take these wands one by one and start to heal them. The universe, the message from the universe is that they want you to start feeling this full range of emotions, all of them. You have 10 of Cups here. This is the completion of a cycle. You have all these emotions that you are meant to feel. You're not meant to keep them stuck in your body, right? There's some, I'm going to say some shame, some unworthiness that needs to come out here. You have a new beginning, a new offer from the universe. Right now, there's a resistance to taking it. But this is the Ace of Swords. This is a sort of authenticity. This is getting back to who you are, Taurus. Who you are. And so the universe wants you to start feel some of this shame that was given to you when you were younger, so that you can get back to who you really are. And then we have over here, well, what do you need to do to start healing this? Well, you have the Hangman here, which is, it's in reverse. And normally the Hangman talks about, you know, looking at the world, getting a different perspective here, right? And because that's in reverse, there's a real resistance on your part to looking at things, to accept that there is another way here. There is a way out of this, to see this in a whole new light, to know that you can turn this around. If you start to heal the shame, you can turn this around. The Star card here. The Star card is a beautiful card that talks about healing. It talks about healing. It talks about, this is number 17 in the Major Arcana Universal Force, and the Tower card is number 16. You know, there's a real Tower moment that's coming up in this reading for you, I talked about. And it's something that happened to you when you were a child, where you felt a lot of shame. It's time for you to heal this. It's time for you to heal that Tower moment. This Star card is about healing, and it comes right after the Tower. It's time for you to heal that. And how are you going to heal that? Here's the Two of Cups card. The Two of Cups is number 2. It's a beginning. It's the beginning of a beautiful relationship between two people. Look how intimate they are. Look how vulnerable they are with each other. But this doesn't talk about an intimate relationship between you and another person. It doesn't talk about that one person that's going to come and save you. It's talking about you and you saving you. You becoming intimate with you, right? Because the universe wants you to get to turn this Ace of Swords around and find out who you are. And so it's time now that you get intimate with you and really start to go inwards and find out, what is this shame that I need to heal? And underneath that is the Six of Wands. Wow. We talked about the Six of Wands victory card. Where did it come out here? I know it's here on the table. Here it is right here. So the outer world talks about the Six of Wands, and here it comes back to me, and oftentimes I will get a card over here in your outer world that will come back in the healing. And so this loss here from your shadow, is here again. The universe wants you to heal this. The universe says, you know, it's time that we turn this up, right? And you need to look at what you've lost. What did you lose as a child? You have this shame that you need to heal. And it's time that you heal this. It's time that you begin this intimate relationship. It's time that you accept this cup right here from the universe. The universe wants you to accept this cup again. The universe wants you to feel these 10 of cups, this full range of emotions that we're meant to heal. And that means getting in touch with your shame, right? Finally, the card here, that overriding energy about temperance. This takes time. This is a process. It doesn't happen like this. And I know we want it to, but it doesn't. And so, Taurus, beautiful reading for you. I'm going to leave you with a playlist on shame. And I'm also going to leave you, like I said, with how to do shadow work video that I have for you. So I'll see you in the middle of August. Take care, Taurus. Bye.